What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Jeremy Tyler for the $10 donation via the PayPal. Much respect to him for showing love to Too Raw for TV once again. All right, so I got a question, or I received a question from one of my subscribers. And the question was that if Michael Jordan retired or stayed retired after his first three-peat retirement in 1993, would most people still consider him the GOAT? So that is basically, to make it simpler, if Michael Jordan stayed retired after 1993, would people today still consider him the GOAT? I don't think so, because his resume wouldn't stack up. You see what I'm saying? At that time, I think he scored. I think when he retired, he was at 21,000. What was he at? 21,000. So many points. I used to know off the top of my head. I think he was at 21,541 points, or something like that. I know he was over 20,000 points, which, in the grand scheme of things, would put him somewhere around where Larry Bird is all time. He had played in 667 games, which is rather low, considering that these guys play so many more games now. Even back then, you had guys who were playing 14, 15, 16 years, playing 1,000, 1,100 games, so that would have been rather low. Now, his averages would look better, even better than what they were. When he retired in 1993, his career average was like 32.3 points per game. His rebounding average was like over 6. His assist average was closer to 6. He averaged 2.7 steals, which was just a hair behind Alvin Robinson for first all time as far as steals averages. So his averages, his efficiency, his PER rating would all be tremendously high, but there wouldn't have been the total accumulation of awards to stack up to other people. 3 championships, great, but it wouldn't match up with Bill Russell's 5, Kareem's 6. I mean, you would assume LeBron still would have 4. The MVPs were at 3. Great, but a little bit behind other players. I think he had, at that time, 1 All-Star MVP, 1988. That sort of pales in comparison to some of the other. So he won a lot of awards when he came back, especially during that 3-year stretch from 95 to 98. You got to think about it. He won 3 more scoring titles, 3 more championships, 3 more Finals MVPs, 2 more All-Star Game MVPs, a lot more first-team All-Defensive selections, All-Star selections. He won a lot more awards and accomplishments, which added to his case. But I would assume that it would have went like this, because I were hearing some people call him the GOAT at that time, but a lot of that was recency bias, because we were witnessing something we hadn't seen before. But you got to ask yourself, if he doesn't come back, well, what happens? Does somebody else take over the league? Who wins the championships during those other years when he was winning titles with the Bulls? We don't know. You could assume, you can make some assumptions. In '96, who wins the championship? Is it the Sonics? Is it Orlando? We don't know. We don't know. If I would assume that if Orlando played Seattle, which would have been the best defensive team in the NBA, going up against perhaps the best offensive team. Well, I think the Bulls were the best offensive team that year, but Orlando was second. So it's hard to say. Let's just say for the sake of argument, we go with the Seattle SuperSonics. Let's say they win in 7. Okay, well then we look at Gary Payton differently. Then 97-98, let's say Utah wins back-to-back titles. Then we're forever looking at Karl Malone and John Stockton differently, right? Or let's say maybe Utah wins it 1 year and then the Pacers win it in 98. History would just be looked upon differently. I think that if you omit Michael Jordan, right, then I would say Kobe's case for a shooting guard, the GOAT shooting guard, is much stronger. Much stronger. Because of his longevity and his accomplishments in that scenario. LeBron's case for GOAT, as much as I hate to admit this, gets stronger because there's Michael Jordan's resume really wouldn't stack up anymore. If you took out all the other years and the Wizard years, it doesn't stack up to LeBron's anymore. So, yeah, in hindsight, Jordan coming back out of retirement really added to his case for GOAT, because I don't think he had done enough historically by 93. I don't think he did. I sort of kind of in hindsight wish that he never retired, because I think that he would probably have won at least 1 to 2, possibly 3 more championships. Now, some of his averages would have taken a hit, possibly, but his accumulative numbers would be crazy. Crazy. He would have been the first player, and still at the time only player to score 40,000 career points. He probably would have won at least 1 to 2 more MVP awards, 2 to 3 more championships, 2 to 3 more Finals MVPs. I mean, his resume would be so crazy, man, that nobody really would be able to compete. But yeah, to make a long story short, I think if Jordan retired in 1993, I don't think that people would still be calling him a GOAT, because I don't think that his resume would stack up. And 667 games wouldn't have been enough. That's to put into perspective. As injury plagued as Larry Bird's career was in 13 years, he played 897 games. So we're talking about a scenario where Jordan played 230 fewer games. Nah, I don't think that he'd be called a GOAT. It was just not enough games, man. Not enough games. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think.